Hello YouTube, this is Braden with Midwest Websites, your solution for business website design and search engine optimization. And for the do-it-yourselfers out there, we also offer a wide selection of domains, hosting, and email options if you're looking to get things up and running yourself. Link in the description below to our store. Now today we're going to be going over how to create contact forms for your WordPress website using a popular plugin known as Contact Form 7. Contact Form 7 is kind of the gold standard for WordPress contact form plugins, and we're going to be taking a look at how it changes your WordPress admin dashboard, what options it gives you to go in and create contact forms, and how to go in and add those forms to your pages or posts. Now, as you can see here, I've already gone ahead and installed a WordPress installation on example.midwestwebsites.com, and I've installed the Contact Form 7 plugin already. It's the only plugin that's installed currently, so we can see how it works in a vacuum without any other plugins interfering with its functionality. Now, the first thing that you'll notice after you install this plugin, you're actually going to receive a new button on the left-hand side of your dashboard called Contact. And with it, you've got a few different options here that you can work with. We're going to go ahead and click on the Contact Forms option, as that's going to be where you're going to be primarily working. There are a few things to take note of when you go in and take a look at this page for the first time. The first thing you'll see is that you've already got a contact form that they've created for you here called Contact Form 1. We'll go in and take a look at that in just a second. The other things you'll notice are these notifications up at the top of the page. The left one is going to talk about how to protect yourself from getting spammed and how to keep bots from filling out your information irrelevantly. You can integrate this with the Akismet plugin for WordPress. You can also use reCAPTCHA through Google. Going through and getting reCAPTCHA set up is pretty easy. If you click on the reCAPTCHA link here, you'll actually get some information about how to go in and get your keys prepared for it so that you can go in and get this configured for any contact form you set up. This is also a great way to help protect your website from getting compromised as well, since contact forms are one of the more popular ways to go in and do this. On the right, this is going to pertain to saving any messages that are put into your website. Now, in an ideal world, you're not going to miss messages that come through your website. Your form's just going to work all the time, and you're going to be able to go in and get any messages that you received through your inbox or through Outlook or however you normally access your email. However, if you want a second place to store those messages, you can use another plugin that was developed by the same team that created Contact Form 7 called Flamingo. We're not really going to go into any more detail about that plugin in this video, but it is a good way to kind of go in and make sure that you've got your messages in a second spot. Now, going in and taking a look at this contact form, you can see how it's set up by going in and clicking on the form itself, which will take you into the editor. If you go in and create a new contact form as well, you're going to see this same information that's set up. Now, as I'm sure you've noticed, there is a bit of coding that's set up to make these forms operate the way that you want them to. While it looks a little intimidating on the surface, most of this is actually pretty straightforward if you take a little bit to see how it all operates. There are going to be two primary points that you're going to be focused on here. The first are going to be these buttons up here. Each of these gives your contact form the ability to do something different. By default, a new contact form is going to have a name field, an email field, a subject field, a message field, and a send button. Fortunately, if you want to add something like, say, a telephone number, you can do this by clicking on the tell button here. As you can see, it's already generated a tag for us for this. You can set a placeholder for it if you want to have placeholder text before someone clicks in and starts typing their own. So if you prefer to have your phone numbers formatted a specific way, you can do that. And you can also choose whether you want to make it a required field. As you change the options that are in here, it's actually going to update the code that it's going to generate down below in this section. In this case, toggling the required field just adds a little asterisk there that will keep the form from submitting if someone does not fill in that particular field. So let's go ahead and we'll say that we want our phone numbers to look like this. So we've got a country code there, and then we want our area code without any dashes and just all the way through there. Then we'll go ahead and insert the tag, and it's going to put it where we put our cursor initially in the form. However, all this is going to do is add the field. The other thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set it up so that it looks like these other 4 fields that it created for us up above. We're actually going to need to go in and add some text above it for it to display. So we'll say your phone number, so that the person filling out your form knows what they're going to be filling in there. And then, just as the first 4 fields have set up here, we do also need to make sure that we fill in label tags at the beginning and the end. And with that, all we've had to do here is go in and add those 2 lines, and we now have a phone number field in our contact form. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll click the Save button here on the right, and I'll show you where you can go to get this added into a page or a post. So if we click on the Contact Forms button here again to take us back to this page, you're going to see that they've generated a shortcode for us for this contact form. Each contact form you create is going to have its own shortcode that pertains to the form that it's tied to. All you have to do is copy this shortcode, and then you can go, say, to a post here. We'll just go to the default Hello World post that WordPress gives to us. We'll just paste this code in, and we'll save it by hitting the update button. And then when we go in to the page that our post is on, it's already put our contact form in for us. Nice and convenient, nothing too tricky. We've just got our 5 fields and a send button here. And you can change what the text says from the default as well. It doesn't have to be your name, your email, your message. You can actually just change the text in there in the contact form pretty much as you see fit. My recommendation is that you don't deviate from it too much. You want to make sure that it's clear what your site visitors are going to be filling in and why they're going to be filling it in. But beyond that, you can do pretty much what you like with these fields. You can just change the text here. You can change what your button says when someone submits it. You can just remove send and change it to submit, for example. And after you save here, it'll just go in and make that change for you right on the form. There are a couple other sections here that we're going to touch on briefly as well. First things first, you need to make sure that you're getting these contact messages that are coming through this form. So in here you can change the address that it's coming to in the to field. So sign at midwestwebsites.com would be what we'd put in here. And then you can also change the email address that it's coming from. This is just going to impact what the email address looks like that it's coming from in your inbox. So you can create specific rules in your email client or filter them into a specific folder. You can also configure the subject line, and it's going to already have the reply to option filled in for the email address that someone fills in on the contact form as well. From there, you can customize the message body how you see fit. You can basically tweak how it looks, where it's coming from, subject, message body. whatever it's going to take to basically make sure that you know this is coming from the website. It's not coming directly from someone typing away at their email address directly. And then the last tab we're going to touch on is going to be the Messages tab. You're probably not going to spend a lot of time in here since these are all pretty well configured for you by default, but you can basically change the message that appears on a page depending on what happens. If everything goes through correctly, you can change the message here to whatever you'd like. If something doesn't work correctly, say there's an error on the server that keeps it from going through, or there's an error with your hosting that keeps the message from running through, you can change that message here in the second field. Or if there are other issues that crop up, say someone forgets to fill in a required field, you can change what that says down below here. There are quite a few of these that you can browse through. Like I said, most of these are pretty valid as they're written by default, but definitely feel free to customize these as you see fit. Not every website's going to have the same needs, so don't feel chained down to what they give you by default. As you've probably noticed, there is one additional tab here for additional settings. You can go in and take a look at the help article they give you by clicking on the additional settings link here. And it'll actually just open up a new page for you that'll talk about some more advanced features. Before we wrap up, there is one other drawback to Contact Form 7 that I feel that we should address as well, and that's going to be involving customizing the look and feel of the form itself. While getting the fields that you want set up is pretty easy, and getting the form into a page or post is even easier, there isn't really a lot of built-in utility for changing fonts or the look and feel or the colors of your contact form in Contact Form 7. Ordinarily, I'd take some time to go through that in the same video, but because there are so many different ways you can get around this, through certain theme options depending upon your theme provider, through plugins, through custom CSS coding, really that would be a video unto itself. So rather than going through and forcing that into this video, I'm going to leave that off here. There are lots of resources available for this online, so definitely pull up your favorite search engine of choice. You'll be able to find more information than you ever wanted to know about how to get look and feel and color set up the way that you want for Contact Form 7. And that completes the tutorial for this video. If this has been helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Definitely helps the channel, definitely helps get this information out to those who need it. And have a great rest of the day.